Can everyone hear me online? Everyone can hear me, okay? If you want to put in the chat. Awesome, thank you. All right, we're gonna wait a few minutes. People are coming in for the onsite, so we're gonna start maybe in about 5-6 minutes. So, thank you for your patience. Okay, we're gonna start in just a couple more minutes. Just trying to see if there's someone else that's coming outside. I don't know, Tom. What do you think? You should call the shots here. You wanna get started? Okay, Tom is impatient, so wanna get started. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you, everyone who drove here, well, because you work here or you drove here to be here. And for the people that are online, I see a bunch of people online, which is great. Um, we're gonna try to keep this interactive and fun as usual. So first of all, we're gonna start with some introductions. Actually, I want to show my notes. There you go. There you go. So we are part of the Cleveland chapter of a Salesforce marketers group. It used to be a Salesforce marketing cloud group. It used to be a Salesforce marketing cloud engagement only group, and now we're like bringing everything marketing. At some point, there's gonna be a Salesforce group. I don't know. So Tom and I are the co-leaders of a community group for marketers. Um, I don't know, Tom. You wanna introduce yourself? You might, if you want people online to hear you, you might need to come because I didn't plan the microphone thing.
Hi, everyone. Tom Clyde. I have been working with Salesforce and with Pato in particular since about 2012, 2013. I can't believe it's been that long. So yeah, all the way back to the exact target days. So we are trying, right, to just help bring the community together to learn more about Salesforce, share our knowledge, tap into your knowledge bases as well as it relates to all the cool things that Salesforce is kind of rolling out. So I work at Harbor Freight currently in their marketing department. We don't have as many Salesforce products as I would like us to have. So I selfishly kind of use this group, to still stay close and current with a lot of the Salesforce happenings and goings on. So great to meet everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Tom. Tom also has discounts for everyone who needs to buy.
I have plenty of coupons I can share.
Coupons. You have to go to the store, though, right? So it's where in California or something.
Well,
right.
What's that? Yeah. You don't have to go to California. Right? Don't listen to Pato.
Okay. Don't listen to me. That's always a good rule. Don't listen to Pato. Pato Sapir. I work for Marcus Thomas. Again, with Tom, been working with Salesforce Marketing Cloud since 2012. And I always had a passion for learning, but also sharing with others. So that's why what we try to do in this group, be curious and try new things. So there is a QR code here, but also, we have a Slack channel where, you can get the notifications for upcoming events. But you can also network with other people, ask questions of, to troubleshoot issues you're going through. We're also always looking for speakers. So if you want to volunteer to speak, you can reach out on the Slack channel. So if you like to join, it's free. There's no fee for now. I think Tom was trying to charge, but I told him no, it's not about that. But okay, so today we're gonna do about 4 exercises together. So it's your choice to, ideally you can follow along, and I'm gonna do everything from scratch, like following the guide that Salesforce gives us. You can feel free to follow along, in your computer. And we are gonna pause to ask questions, and in the chat, if you feel free to also put questions in the chat. We're gonna do an interaction on. It's gonna be mostly focused on prompt building and Agentforce. So I'm gonna do an interaction of what Agentforce is very quick, because a lot of you probably kind of heard about this, and then we're gonna dive right into the workshop. Okay. I sent an email on Wednesday with some prerequisites. So we're gonna have time to walk through those prerequisites. We have 2 hours here, so we're gonna have time to walk through those prerequisites, and then we're gonna talk about prompt builder and do an overview of that, and then we're gonna dive right into the exercise, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about Agentforce, and then we're gonna dive right into the exercise. So it's gonna be a lot of you working on things. Now, all these exercises are based on this website, the Agentforce workshop. So once you come out of here, you can actually do a lot of these exercises on your own with the Salesforce org that you're gonna get when when you follow these setup instructions. So just so you know, like we're gonna follow these exercises, but you can also do. There's a lot of advanced um, topics on Agentforce that you can explore if you follow the workshops. So we're gonna use like a fictitious company called Coral Cloud Resorts. It's a fictional resort in Hawaii, or at least they say it's fictional. I feel like this could be kind of like a lost, like a science fiction TV show that, well, Mark Benioff is saying that this is a fictional resort, but like people actually go there and it actually exists, and it's all part of like I don't know. Maybe we need to develop that script, but we're gonna use this fictional company. They use Salesforce as their CRM. Um, they store contact information. They also store information about the different experiences that you can live within the all-inclusive resort. Um, the other pieces like guest information from Amazon, reservation information from Amazon, those are used for the workshops that relate to data cloud. But the idea is that they have data in CRM, but they also have some data in other data sources. So the idea is that you will use data cloud to unify all that data. So that's what we're gonna use. So let's walk through the prerequisites. I don't know if in the chat you can answer, but did anyone have a chance to go through the prerequisites before? The Okay, we can do it. We can do it right away. If not, so I'm gonna do it myself because I actually my org expired uh, this morning, so I had to like basically redo it. So in Trailhead, you're gonna go to the explore the Coral sample app batch. So you're gonna go into Trailhead, and you're gonna go into this link right here. I'm gonna put in the chat, and Elizabeth, I can send you a link as well. Oh, I used the one from the grip, and I. Oh, okay. So which from the workshop page you say? Okay. All right. So you're gonna go to this Trailhead, and it's gonna ask you to like send an email to reset your password. You might need to get a Trailhead account if you don't have one. It's free, obviously, but you're gonna get this message that's gonna say, "Hey, I can receive password reset to this email address," and then you're gonna send not to my email address, but it will be your email address, right? So you're gonna get an email into your inbox with a link to reset the password, and then once you set the password, just write down the username and password that you chose, and then you would just go to login.salesforce.com um, to log in into your org. So I'm gonna leave those instructions there. Let me know if you need help. Or once you're good, I can keep going. So we have a few minutes. So the package is different. Okay, I wanna update. Okay. If you need help, let me know. I can On the online, everyone is good. You need more time. I wonder if I can. There is like a raise hand option also as well if you need. I don't know if I can make unmute everyone. I think everyone can talk. Everyone good? Yeah. Okay. What's that? No, it's okay. Just give a few minutes. The next step is easy. Awesome. I see Karim. It's good. Yeah, this first step might take about 5 minutes to set up. It's not too long. Tom? Oh, you did it already, right? You already have? Fine. No, we did it because we wanted to time how long it will take us to do the whole thing to see if how many exercises we can do in 2 hours, so I think we'll be good. All right. I'm gonna give a couple more minutes. The next step is we're gonna install. So we access the org that we're gonna work on, but we need to import data um, and some objects that are gonna be used in the org for us to do all the exercises. So the next step is we're gonna install a package in the CRM org that will contain the objects that we need, and then we're gonna import data into those objects. So we're gonna do that in a minute. Okay. Yeah, it's good if I move forward. Good. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So the next step is you're going to um, install a package. So what you are gonna do, I'm gonna put in the chat. So you're gonna grab the URL, um, everything that comes after. So here, let me show you real quick. Everything that comes after, the first slash, you're gonna remove, and then you're gonna paste this this string over here that I'm gonna put in the chat, and also for you guys that are not in online, you can probably copy it, right? So I'm gonna leave it there, but you will just do that. So that's gonna prompt you to install a package, and then you will click on install. and then it will ask you if you want to install for all the users or the admin user. You can install for all the users, and then once you do that, we can do the other stuff. I wish I could show my screen on the one on the like have four screens. So I'm gonna do myself. Um, so you will go here and you paste that, and then I click on install for all users, and then install, and then click continue, and then you'll get it's gonna say that it's taking too long, or you're gonna get an email once the package was installed. Sometimes you can go back to the org and you get the email comes after like stuff gets installed. So like, it takes a minute to that. So you're gonna get a message that says installation complete. You click on done, and then you should end in setup in the setup screen. Everyone good so far? Any questions? Okay, great. So once you install the package, you wanna go into you're gonna be in setup already. So you're just gonna search for permission sets. Permission sets. And then you're gonna look for Coral Cloud permission set. So you can try here, this one. And then manage assignments. You're gonna click on manage assignments. And then you're gonna click on add assignment. And then you will choose your user. Or you can choose all the users if you like. Just my two admin users. And then click on next. And then assign. Just basically giving access to the objects and the configuration to the users, right, that are gonna use this Coral Cloud app and the data in it. And then click on done. So those are the steps you do. So go to permission sets, You click on the Coral Cloud permission sets, add assignment, you choose your user, click assign, and then you're good there. And then once you do that, you're gonna click on this, the app launcher, which are these dots over here. And then you're gonna search for sample data import. And then there's gonna be only one button that says import sample data, and then you just click on it. And you have your data imported. So to verify that, the stuff that we're gonna use is in the app launcher, and you search for Coral Cloud Resorts, and you're gonna have data. You see that you have data in it. So you should have contacts. You have all these contacts. You should have experiences as well in there. So that's how you know you have data. Okay, sounds good, Dan. I'm gonna leave the instructions here for you to look at. Let me know. I'll give everyone a couple more minutes and then we'll continue. All right. Let me know when you are set, ready to go. I'll give you like a couple more minutes and then we'll keep going. All right. Yeah, it's ready to keep going. Good. Dan, you ready? Cool. All right. So let's talk about Agentforce a little bit. So I'm not gonna go over. You probably know already, heard the news about Agentforce. Um, but basically, think about Agentforce as a way to connect Salesforce with a large language model, where that's OpenAI's language models, Google's large language models, Amazon LLMs. Think about a way to utilize the power of those tools with the data and the functionality that you have in Salesforce, and do it that in a secure way, right? So, you know, agent, the concept of agents is a concept of, starts with having that copilot, right, chat within your CRM, where you can use prompts right? Natural language prompts to execute very complex operations, right? So that's the concept of generative AI, right? So the functionality of generating natural language responses and processing very complex operations in the backend. If you combine that with the data that you have in Salesforce and also the functionality that you have in Salesforce, that being the ability to use flows to invoke, to operations in a flow within a prompt, or the ability to connect to a third-party service within the prompt. If you combine all that with your Salesforce data, with the LLM, it results in a very powerful application, right? Because you not only start thinking about the agent being that chat, window in my CRM, but then start thinking about automating processes within my CRM or other systems using generative AI, like for example, summarizing records or generating sales emails, but also taking that functionality outside of my CRM. So having agents that can interact with customers on a website, having agents that can interact with customers over the phone, right? So and again, I think it's like the cool thing about this is like it's done with your data in your CRM, but without exposing the data to the outside world. So it's done in a secure way. Having said that, with great power comes great responsibility. So there's always the ability to do things that are not ethical. So it's important to recognize that this is in our control to make this safe, right? So the way Agentforce works, like I say, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit later when we review Agentforce, but it's basically like interacting with an LLM at the end of the day. But a lot of things happen before Salesforce interacts with that LLM, and that's what gives it the ability to be very powerful. Um, so there is an evolution, right? So the evolution between chatbots and the co-pilots of smart assistants, and then Agentforce, right? So I think chatbots are more like the fixed set of rules. It's almost like you build a flow chart of based on what your outcome needs to be. It's like you build those those rules, and then it's more like you probably interacted with some of these. When you are booking a trip on an airline, it's like they give you specific options, and based off the options, it gives you an outcome. So it's like if then that. There is a little bit of AI in there, but it's not so much. Co-pilots are the ones that use LLMs, behind the scene to interpret the request, your prompt, process that data, and then return a natural response. Agentforce is, think about it, it's like you are building agents that have a specific function. So you're giving the agent a job, you're giving the agent boundaries, and you're giving the agent a set of tasks that they can execute. And the agent is going to choose based on the prompt which are the tasks that it should execute based on the prompt that you are giving it. So it builds a plan of execution based on the prompt that it receives. The prompt is a prompt that comes from a user, like a user inputted prompt. It can be a prompt that gets generated by an automation, right? So your agents, you can deploy multiple agents in your org, and they could be totally autonomous, just running tasks, or they can be waiting for a user input. But the cool thing about it is that you give an agent a specific job and boundaries, and they will choose what to do based on those responsibilities. And when it can do its job, it will scale, right? So your typical customer service agent, you can say, look, you can answer questions about this type of topics. Always request the email address of a person before doing any operations, and then You can set up escalation rules to say, okay, if you can answer these questions because they're outside of a topic, send that to an actual customer support rep and redirect the phone call, for example. So you can actually program agents to do that for you. So if you wanna be have a good understanding of how Agentforce works, and as you if you are helping customers, or if you are in the corporate side and you wanna help your team understand Agentforce, I think these are the four fundamental building blocks of Agentforce, and four things that you should understand well to build agents that add value, and to kind of like understand the concept, right? So topic, you want to talk about topics with Agentforce, which is they define what the role of an agent is. um, Instructions is that defines the boundaries of agents, so it defines what an agent can and cannot do inside a topic. So for example, you can say that the topic of the agent is um, searching information on the knowledge base of a CRM, but the instructions can be never disclose information about the company that this article is from, for example. So you start to set up guardrails. In addition to the guardrails that you can set up with instructions to the agent, within Agentforce you can also say, do not share data from these specific fields in CRM. So you can actually like override, so Agentforce will never share information with the LLM or with the user about certain fields that you want to protect, right? But within the agent, you can give specific instructions of what they can and cannot do. Actions, these are the meat, of the agent. This is what the you know the actions that the agent can execute. For example, like one action, you have standard actions, out of the box actions. One of them is summarizing a record. So you have an opportunity, or you have a phone call, a log with a phone call, and you can have an action that says summarize what happens on this phone call. And that's a standard action that based on the prompt, the agent can interpret, I have to answer this. And then prompt templates, which is something that we're gonna look in a minute, but the prompt templates is a way to execute an action. And this is, again, like if you get creative, you can do really, really powerful things with prompt templates, but it's a way to execute prompts with the data that you have in your CRM. So let's start with the first workshop, prompt builder. So prompt builder, like I said, think about it as generating your own prompts with data that you have in CRM. And then the response of that prompt is gonna go somewhere. For those who are marketers in Marketing Cloud, it's almost like, when we're talking about like SQL queries in Marketing Cloud, it's like you make a SQL query, the response of that query needs to go somewhere into a data extension or something. This is kind of the same. It's like you create a prompt with natural language, the response of that prompt needs to go somewhere. So you can create a sales email based on a prompt. You can actually do a field generation prompt, which is auto-completing a field based on a prompt. You can summarize records, and then you have flex prompt templates, which is basically you can create prompts with multiple objects, and then you can integrate that within a flow. A flow. The two workshops I'm gonna do today is gonna be the first two. I think it's gonna be a sales email and the field generation. Those are really common use cases, but you'll be able to do more in the link that I showed earlier. So, real quick before we dive in, so working with prompts, right? So this is an example of a prompt. It's not a very good example, right? So something that you will go into ChatGPT or Copilot and say, write a welcome email for a guest for the upcoming stay, right? If you write a prompt in ChatGPT, it's not going to be very tailored towards your business, because you're not instructing the prompt to say you are a marketer from this resort, this is what the company does. You're not giving a lot of meat to the LLM, so it's going to be a very basic response. You're going to get a very cookie cutter. A better prompt is this, right? Your name is Jane, you work in the access team at Correct Result, Write an email welcoming the guest. This is a guest's name. This is a check-in date. Write a story that paints a picture of infinite possibilities at the resort and list the resort experiences matching the guest's interests. So you put that. If you put that in ChatGPT, it's gonna give you a better response, right? Because it's a better prompt. It's more personalized. You are instructing what is the outcome that you want. Prompt template is basically taking that static prompt and make it dynamic. And the dynamic piece is using the data that you have in your CRM. So it will generate a prompt for each unique individual, right? So for example, the full name of a person, the organization full name, the check-in date, right? And all that. That gets sent to the LLM eventually, and you get an answer very tailored to that person. Now you see here that we have experience list. So experience list is also something that we can say, okay, the experience list, you can go get it from, I have the experience list in another object, so you can build something that goes get that list of experiences to show them. And we're gonna do that in our exercise in a little bit here. So what this is called, this concept of making your prompt dynamic using the data in your CRM is called grounding. Okay, dynamic grounding. You're grounding the prompt with data that you have in your CRM or in an external system if you can go fetch it. So how can you ground data? So you can ground data using record data. You can ground data using related lists within your CRM. You can go execute a flow and go get the data to ground that template. You can execute Apex classes, which is just creating code to connect to a third-party service. You can ground data with Data Cloud. You can ground data connecting to an API with MuleSoft and whatnot. So why is it called prompt template? Because I don't want to have to type this same prompt every single time I want to execute it. I want to templatize it. So prompt template is basically the concept of creating a template of a prompt, making it dynamic, and then find a way to execute that prompt. And that's what we're looking at the beginning, in a sales email or in a field generation template. So again, you can use Flow to do heavy lifting, and we're gonna do some of that. So let's actually build uh, let's build a couple of prompt templates. So the exercise that we're gonna do, if you wanna follow online and you just wanna go ahead of me, or or you wanna follow that, I'm gonna put in the chat. This is the exercise that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna give you time to do it. But this is all the exercise. The steps I wanna do is pretty quick. Okay. So the first thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to enable Einstein. Okay, so we have to enable generative AI within Einstein for this to work. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to go into setup. Everyone is logged in into your org, right? You guys good? Okay. So you go, and again, like if you want, then you can do exercise later as well. So you go into your setup. And you're gonna search for, in the quick find, you're gonna search for generative AI. And you're gonna click on Einstein setup. So generative AI, Einstein setup. And you're gonna see a checkbox here that says turn on Einstein. And when you click on it, nothing's gonna happen. Well, they're gonna say Einstein's on, but don't get too excited, because you get excited later. And that's it. That's the first thing we have to do. That's it. Easy, right? So this is your part, the trust layer settings. So this is where I was telling you, you can actually override some of it, make sure that things happen within Iceland that certain information doesn't get shared with LLM, so you can go ahead in your org and explore all the options that you can have this, you can have here. By default, there's already some rules applied to the trust layer from Einstein that are applied. Certain, you know, information is obfuscated when it's shared to LLM and whatnot. Um, but and then you're gonna refresh your browser. You're gonna need to refresh your browser, at least I think. And then you're gonna be in setup still. You're gonna be in setup, okay? And then you're just gonna click on prompt builder. Prompt builder. And now we're in prompt builder. So this is where we can choose. We can create our own templates for our prompts that we're gonna use later. So we're gonna create a new prompt template, okay? So we're gonna create a new prompt template. And see here, you have all the prompt template types that I was telling you about. And you'll see that we don't have one that is called the email, sales email, because we haven't enabled that function. We'll do it later. But we have all the different template types here. We're gonna use a field generation template, okay? So what we're gonna try to do with this field generation template, we're gonna try to let um, the Agentforce or the LLM, right, like auto-generate descriptions for the experience that object that we have in our CRM. So we're gonna have a field that is empty in CRM that says some summary of description. I'm gonna click on a button that's gonna call a prompt, and it's gonna give me an answer, and it's gonna summarize that field for us. And you're gonna see it's pretty cool because it has a lot of applications. So we're going to, I lost my mouse. Okay, we're going to call this template um, generate experience description. The API name, you can leave it as it is. And then we can say this template is used to generate a description for a resort experience. Okay. And the object is going to be experience. The object is going to be experience. Okay. So we're creating a template, a prompt template. And the prompt template, remember we talked about grounding. So we're gonna ground this template with experience data, okay? So we gotta tell the system, hey, use this object to ground the template. If you wanted to use more than one object, you will have to create a flex template that lets you choose more options. In this case, a field generation template that would choose this object. And the field, so this is because it's a field generation template, Salesforce is going to ask us, okay, which field are you going to want to populate? So I have an experience object that says, oh, you can go archery or something. Thank you. Yeah. And you have a description field that is empty. And you say, I want to populate the description with the result of a prompt. So I got to indicate, okay, my field that I want you to populate is description. Okay. I choose description. You click next. And now we're gonna paste the text that is on the exercise here. But I'm gonna read to you. It says, you're a marketer at organization name. The resort provides experiences guests can book throughout the day. Write a marketing description for the experience below. Make it sound unique and exciting. Highlight the benefits of the experience. The description should be between 80 and 100 words. And then it gives all the data of the description. Okay. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it on the chat. And I'm going to send it to you guys. So you can write your own prompt too. You don't have to like follow this exact prompt. This is just what the exercise gives you. So if you want to play a little bit with a different prompt, that's totally fine. Sorry, where am I? Over here. So we're gonna paste this prompt over here, right? So now what happens is that um, I have a prompt, but remember, like we were talking about, okay, this prompt, if we execute this prompt, right? Um, I'm not gonna get a unique experience for that user because it's not grounded, right? It needs to be grounded. So what we need to do is we need to replace these placeholders with the actual dynamic um, grounding. So organization, we're gonna replace with current organization, and then you can search here on the resource panel. You can click on it, and you can actually search for the fields organization.name. And then we're gonna remove this, and then we're gonna grab experience name. I'm gonna click on it on here. I'm gonna click on experience. See, this is the object that we chose, and then we're gonna click on name or search for name, and then we're gonna do the same for type. So we're gonna say experience type. So as you can see, one of the skills that you should develop is writing good prompts, because following best practices on writing good prompts is gonna give you the ability to get the results you want. And it's gonna help you in your interpersonal relationships, I think. I feel like if you're a good prompt writer, that should help you in all sorts of, right? I don't know, Tom. I don't want to give you any advice, but experience capacity. So you just prompt. So now our prompt is grounded. Now, how can we test? Can we preview this prompt before um, before we use it? Yes. So first of all, you can choose your models. So you can actually you can bring your own LLM, which is very interesting. So that's also another way to secure, add more complexity to it. But you can choose also different models. Like I said, Salesforce has partnerships with all these companies where the data that gets there into LLM doesn't get retained. It just used to process, and then it gets no use anymore. So you can test with all these different models. So I'm gonna put GPT-4, and related record is I can preview. So I'm gonna choose one of the experiences. So if I search for fitness, Aqua Fitness in Paradise, you can actually preview. Now they support multiple languages. That's a new release. So I can put Spanish if I want. I can put English. So you can actually write, in that language. So I'm gonna click on Save and Preview. And that gives me the response. So first of all, in the resolution, I can see the data that was sent to the prompt. So this allows me to verify if the data is accurate, that is sent, or if there's something that needs to be changed in the prompt. On the right-hand side, I see the response, okay? So I can say, for example, the description should be no longer than 80 words, and it should contain bullet points. Let's see what happens if I do that. Let's see. I mean, this is all testing, right? Like I'm interacting with an LLM at the end of the day. So dive into the Aquafitness in Paradise Epic experience at Epic Orphan, which is the name of our organization. Engage in a medium level fitness session. Enjoy refreshing 3 hours. And I can say it should contain no more than 3 bullet points. So now you can play, with it. Now, all good with this. Now what we're gonna do, all right, I can't find organization name. Okay. So Ella, you go, if you click on search here, you click on current organization, and then you can scroll down if you want and click on name, and you'll find it here. Um, and if you want, you can also type Coral Cloud Resorts, you know, you can also write your own, but yeah. And then for experience, you do the same. You click on it, experience, and then you search. I wonder if I can give you all this. What happened?
So, quick question.
Yes.
When you just did that, right,
Yeah.
and you gave it a little bit more, sort of, you added details,
Yes.
like, no more than 3 bullet points.
Yeah.
Did it simply just reduce the number of bullet points and like keep that upper language the same, or did it change that to like if you liked what it had to say first, but did it change it again?
It changed it, yeah.
Okay.
It changed it. It re-executed the prompt. Now, you could, for example, say this. Here are examples of descriptions you can use. And then you can either paste a description, or I can have a flow that goes and gets the descriptions somewhere. So see how, like, the more you know about this, the more. So think about like a marketing team, right? And say we gotta write a blog post, but I need to write it in the tone of the author in my company. Here are examples of blog posts that this person wrote. Write me like a summary of it because I gotta post it in LinkedIn. That's an application. Like, if you know how to use this well, then you start hacking the system to like do whatever you want in a good way.
Things that I can run into, ChatGPT sometimes too, right? Like I like the first thing they have to say, but I don't like this other part, So then,
Yeah.
But if you rerun the prompt, right, then it's gonna spit out a whole new thing. So that would be kind of save some of that. And it sounds like you do that by essentially, maybe adding something like that to the prompt, or just giving that initial instruction, some a little bit more detail about that type of language and so.
Now within ChatGPT, have you tried their Canvas feature?
I don't know that I have.
So it's actually really cool. So if you write a prompt and it generates a response, let's say it's 2 paragraphs, and you like the first one but not the second. Canvas allows you to edit set pieces of, let's say, the second paragraph that you want to tweak, and then it can regenerate it like live with what you're like editing its actual response.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it instructions to like reformulate, you're editing live.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
I want to say this has a Canvas feature too.
So if you, for Ella, if you click on related record here, you can just search for aqua fitness or any, fitness or something, and it should show up. Yeah, you can choose different experiences. So these are objects that are in CRM, right? So there are experiences that the hotel provides. But think about this, it's like the data in this object is like in different fields, and then we needed to summarize. We need a description to summarize, make it exciting. We can say, we could do something like to write like the tone, for example. Like, for example, we can say use pirate tone. I don't know what will happen. Let's try it, right? Since this is not our job doesn't depend on this, why not have fun, what it says. Embark on the ocean, a unique plan. It wasn't very piratey. Okay, talk like a pirate.
on Scallywag.
No.
Not sure which job.
No, nothing. It's boring. Okay.
Yeah, it might do better if you give it an example.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, an example exactly. Yeah. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna activate this template. Okay. Activate this template, and now our template is activated. But again, what we're gonna do, what I wanna do is I wanna be able to go to the Coral Cloud. So we're gonna click on the app launcher, Coral Cloud. So we're in Coral Cloud, and then once you activate it, make sure you activate prompt template. Click on experiences, and these are all the experiences that the result offers, right? So what I want to do, I want to be able to go here. I want to click on the Aqua Fitness in Paradise or Beach Yoga Retreat. That sounds nice. So I want to be able to say, okay, I have a description field, but this description, someone wrote it. Maybe they weren't very inspiring, but I want these descriptions to be on my website, right? So, or I want someone to like populate it, but I want to give them like some ideas, right? So what we're gonna do is wanna click on the gear here. So we're in a page. So for those who are kind of new to CRM, we're looking at the detailed page for an object. The object is experience. Okay. So what we can do in CRM is we can edit how the page looks for the person looking at it, looking at that object in the CRM, right? Kind of like what we will do in a CMS, right? So we're gonna click on the gear. I'm gonna click on edit page, and then this is gonna take us to a page builder or the app builder, and it's gonna show us a preview of this page. This is what the user will look like. Will look at, or some users, and then we're gonna click on description. Okay, so we click on the description field. Remember, this is a field that we want to populate. And Einstein's already say, oh, you're going to assign a prompt template. Yes, that's what we're going to do. So we can say, okay, this field, I want to use a prompt template to populate this field. So you click on the field and you click on your prompt template, which was created. We just click on save. And we just click on the back arrow. And when we refresh, I don't know if I need to refresh. Yeah, I think. Oh, no, here. See now the icon changed. It's a little magic one pencil type thing. So when you click on edit description, you're going to have a little magic thing here. When you click on it, Einstein pops up, Copilot. Now, here's the crazy part. All this is doing, you could do this before. Like if you have Einstein Copilot, you could just write a prompt that says, you are the marketer, you can write it manually, right? You are the marketer of blah, blah, blah. Give me a description for this field. Here's a field that and then you grab the response and you copy and paste it. You could do all this. You could take all this data to ChatGPT and do this, right? If you wanted before. But what this gives you is A, the ability to templatize a template. So you don't have to type it all the time. B, you can round it with dynamic data. C, is safer because you're not going outside of Salesforce to do this. And D, now I can click on, with this description, I can either do something else, or I can click on use. And now it pastes the description of my field. And I could also automate this process. Say that I have 1,000 experiences. I could automate this. I could use a template, a prompt template, create a flow that says, update all these descriptions. Or every time there is an experience created, auto-populate the experience in here. Boom. See how it is. If you start getting creative, you can do crazy stuff with Agentforce. All right. So I don't know how we're doing time, Tom. I should try to hurry up a little, huh? Um. So let's do. Should we do the sales email one? I think that one's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do another prompt template, and then we might have time to do an agent. Maybe the one agent. I don't know if we have time to do two. I think we might have time to have. We'll see.
We gotta eat though too.
Well, we can eat. We can eat. We can do Argentine style. We can eat at one. We brought food. Tom bought food because he's in charge of food also. So we're gonna do this exercise. We're gonna create a sales email template. Okay, so this is another very good use case. You have people that are using your CRM. They need to contact, email contacts, and you want to give them a starting point and a template to use. Okay, so we're gonna create a sales template. So the first thing we're going to do is we're gonna go to back to setup. So far so good. Any questions or anything? Okay. Again, remember you can do these exercises on your own as well, so don't worry. But um, just so we're gonna search for Einstein for sales. Einstein for sales. And you're gonna click on it, Einstein for sales. And then we're gonna click on turn on sales emails. Wow. So now we're turning on the ability to create sales emails. Okay. So we need in the sales email, the use case that we want to cover is we want to email the person the different experiences that they can, a list of experiences that they can enjoy in the resort. Okay, but we want to tie those experiences to match the person's interest. Okay, so in the contact, at the contact level, I don't know if we're gonna see here in the contact. If you go to the details of a contact, I don't know if I have it here. Oh, it's not populated, but there are like 3 fields that the user can populate that are interest. What are they interested on? Okay, the contact says, I like yoga, I like kayaking, and I like eating. I don't know. And based on those interests, we want the salesperson to write an email. They say, oh, you can try this experience, or you can try this experience. But the salesperson doesn't want to go look at, oh, let's see the interest. Let me see the experience. We wanna do that quick, right? So we need to create a template. To ground that template, we have to create a flow. Why? Because we are going to actually have to look for the experiences that match that person's interest. So we need to go fetch that, and then we're going to use a flow in our template. Okay, so we're going to create a flow. So if we go here in the setup, we search for flow, and then we create a new flow, and then we're gonna click on start from scratch. And again, flow is a way that you can kind of automate a lot of the things that happen within CRM or outside of CRM. You have a lot of types of flows. The one that we want to create is a template trigger flow, meaning that this is a flow that is going to launch from a prompt template. Okay, template trigger what a name, template trigger prompt flow. So we basically remember that we say, okay, we can have a prompt, and I can say, go fetch something from this flow. That flow is this that we're gonna create. Template trigger prompt flow. We're gonna click on create, and then we're gonna say automatic inputs. Okay, so because we want like basically, um, we're gonna tell it, take the inputs from the prompt template automatically, and the prompt template type is gonna be sales email template capability. Okay, so we're basically creating a connection of this flow that we're creating with the sales template email. Okay, but we still haven't created a prompt. We need to create the prompt type, and connect it to this flow. But who comes first? The template, the prompt, or the flow? Who comes first? Who? The prompt, you can create the prompt first and then leave it empty and say, okay, now I'm going to create the flow, or you can do it the other way. We're doing it the other way. We're going to create the flow first, and then we're going to create the prompt. I think it's better. We're going to follow the exercise steps, but I think it's better to write the prompt first and then say, okay, now I need a flow to go get it, but we're going to do it the other way for now, okay? So basically, the recipient, the sender of the email, the recipient of the email is going to be a contact. Before we're creating the flow, we're basically setting up the flow to say, okay, this flow is going to be tied to a prompt template to send a sales email, and the recipient of this email is going to be a contact. This is important because I'm going to use that information in my flow. Okay. All right, I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to add a new element called get records. And then the label that I'm gonna give is I wanna get the experiences. Remember, that's what we're doing in this flow, is we're getting the experiences for that contact. Okay. And then the description is get the experiences for the contact in question based on their interest. I don't know if is that it? So my data source is a Salesforce object. This is like, which object do you want to get? What object are you trying to get? I want to get the experience, right? So I want to get the experience. Experience. Okay, and what do you want to filter by? I want to filter by the interest, right, of a contact. So I want to match which experiences are tied to the interest. So in the experience, I have a list of interests, and the contact have a list of interests. I want the experiences that match both, right? So I'm gonna say any condition is met because I want any of the interests match. I say basically type, experience type. The experience type matches an interest. So I'm gonna say here type equals, and if you scroll down, you're gonna see that says input, recipient, interest one. Interest one. Now I can copy this. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same for interest two and interest three. So I'm saying, give me all the experiences. The type of experience should be equal to the interest of a person. Who is the person in question? Well, the person in question is going to be the person that I'm writing to, okay? I think this should work. Okay, so again, input. recipient interest 3. Okay. So now I'm gonna say, okay, how many records do you want? I want all the records. Okay, all the records. I want all the records. Not the first experience. I want all the experiences they can give me. Okay, that match the interest of a person. And then, well, that now we're gonna. This is a tricky part. Now we have the experiences. Now we need to add them to our prompt. Because remember, we're gonna ground this prompt with the data that came from the flow. So we're gonna tell the flow that grab the data from each experience and put the text in the prompt that as a result. So we're gonna click on the loop. We're gonna add a loop. We're gonna loop through these experiences. That's another thing. Is like I'm learning a lot about flow by using this. I'm not an expert by all means. I don't know anything about flow, but I'm learning a lot. So I'm gonna call this loop experiences loop. I'm gonna loop through experiences. And the collection that I'm gonna explore is a result of my get records. So I'm gonna click on get records. And then I'm gonna click on the for each element here. And I'm gonna add prompt instructions. So what all I'm doing is like for each experience that I got, add that experience description to the template. It's like kind of like an easy way to fetch the data and put it back in the template. Okay, we haven't created a template yet. And then we're gonna say add experience to prompt. And then we'll say, okay, what do you want to add to the prompt? And then I'm gonna say current item from the loop, the current item from the loop, and I want the name of that, the name of the experience. Okay. So all I'm saying here is loop through the experience and add them to the prompt. And then we save it. We save the flow and we activate it. So we're gonna call this add experiences to prompt. Probably if you have a lot of flows, maybe it's not the most user-friendly name, but we're gonna do it. And then we're gonna click on activate, and now we have the activation of it. So that's our flow. Okay. Now we can go back to prompt builder and create our sales email template. Again, you'll see why I said it's better for me to having created a prompt template versus a flow, because it makes more sense, but we're doing it backwards for now. So we're going to prompt builder, create a new prompt template. The prompt template type is going to be sales email. The prompt template name is going to say welcome email for upcoming trip. So our use cases is we want our salesperson to go to a contact and email them, like a concierge, and email them, right? This template is used to send welcome emails to guests. The recipient is going to be a contact, and we don't want to add any related objects in our template, so we're just going to send it to a contact. We already have like a copy of the of a text here, so I'm going to just paste it. Your name is sender name. You work in the guest success team, blah blah blah. Generate an email welcoming the guest for a coming state. This is the name of a guest. This is a check-in date, and these are the experiences, right? So this is what we're gonna use our flow. Let's do this one first. These experiences. So we click on here on the resource flows, and that's our flow. So all we did in that flow is go get the experiences, grab the name, put them on a text, boom. So I don't have to type experience, because I don't know what the person is interested in. So all we have to do here is just replace sender name. So we're gonna replace with sender full name. And then organization name, we can just put here resource. Guest name, we replace that with recipient, full name. Check-in date, we're gonna put recipient. Next check-in date, and that's it. And now we can test it like with what we did before. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna test it. I just gonna go while and I'm just gonna activate it because
So
that's our role.
you only have one problem.
Yes.
Word only has one record with the next check date.
What's that? Can you repeat?
The org only has one record with the next check date. So then,
Oh, really?
yeah.
And that's Sophia, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah. You're right.
So, if you update the all, you can add that field and then, add it as the record.
Um.
The rest of the data is still there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, no, that's good.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. So now let's see how this works, right? So we're going to let's go to Sophia. You are saying to update the page to show the interest.
I wouldn't update the page, I would just update the list view to show the, next check-in date, so that you populate it out of your contact. Because other, the page layout change, will take out the.
So here, I mean, this list view, I mean. Well, let's try with Sophia at least so we can see at least. So if you go to Sophia Rodriguez, and then we're gonna create a new email.
So where's the next check-in date stored? Is it stored on contact?
It's on the contact.
It's on the contact,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
They just, they didn't update the page layout, so to see that or interest.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you will have to add it here. Right.
Okay, now I see why you're saying update the list view so you can edit it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will have this message, you say no, send through Salesforce. And then here, draft with Einstein. When you click on it, you can enter your instructions here to draft the email. You can enter a prompt or use primary instructions, and you have your prompt template that we created. When you click on it, again, all this is doing is executing the prompt template, so you don't have to type the whole thing, look what are the interests of the person. It's all automated, right? I didn't test the prompt template like we did before. I just went for it. So we'll see. There you go. Dear Sophia, we're delighted to confirm your state. At Coral Beach Resorts, every day is a new story, imagine starting, blah, blah. Finally, etc. So see how it's like listing their experiences, but in a descriptive way, right? I could modify the prompt so it lists the experiences, like list the experiences one by one, for example, in bullet points. So I can instruct the prompt to do it differently. All right. What do you think, Tom? Should we try to do one agent?
Yeah,
I think we can do one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do one agent. So real quick about prompts. Like I said, just applying best practices. So, just a point of view, grounding your data. Conditional logic you can add into prompts too. So if the contact field is blank, then suggest this or field. So you can do that. You can actually add conditions. Tone and style, contact length, policies. For example, don't mention any company name except mine and the prospect. Bias and ethical considerations. I do not address contact by pronouns. Don't assume their gender. And the output. Here are two examples, like we were saying the output. So these are like best practices, again, like prompt engineering best practices. And there is, I have the link later, but there is a prompt label, a template library that you can use. It has a lot of prompt templates and prompt libraries that you can use, prompt templates and examples that you can use. So I recommend you visit that. I have the link on the slides as well. So let's talk a little bit about Agentforce, and then let's try to build one agent at least. We're not gonna be able to build two, but I think we're gonna be able to build and explore one. So again, I kind of went through this the way the Agentforce works. This is a little more in detail, but like I said, you send an instruction to the agent. The agent builds up, picks the right topic. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And then based on the topic, you have a collection of actions to execute. Like for example, the prompt template is an action, and then the outcome is what gets sent back. This is what happens kind of in the inside, So you write a prompt. There is a secure data retrieval from your CRM, the dynamic grounding, then data gets masked that you can override what data gets masked or not. Then the data gets sent to LLM. You can bring your own model or connect like we did with other models, but there is zero retention policy. Then there is some toxicity detection. The data gets masked. There is a framework mechanism for feedback. The response gets audited so you can actually audit all the responses that get sent and monitor that, and then it gets sent to your app. So we talk a little bit about topic, instructions, and actions. So like I said, you can have more than one agent in your org, but one agent can also have multiple topics in your org. So basically, like I said, a topic is um, defines what the role of the agent is going to be. Within the topic, you have a classification description, which is basically when to use this topic in particular. It's kind of like instructing the agent when they should use this topic. And then you have a field called scope, which is basically what should the agent do or not do. This is all, like, again, the more descriptive but exact you are with what you want this topic to be, the better the agent will be able to choose what to do. So you can have multiple topics inside an agent, but you need to make it understand what is it each topic for. And then the instructions is basically what can within a topic, what can the agent do and not do. For example, here is do not declare intent. So I don't want the agent to respond to the user. I will now fetch the data. I don't want that. It needs to feel human. So you put in the instruction. Or you say, for example, always call. We were talking about flows. So I did a flow. I did an agent the other day that I wanted to retrieve like loyalty points for a user after getting the order status, because I wanted to see if a user had loyalty points to use. So I had to instruct the agent to say, always call this flow after calling this task. So I always want you to go check um, for loyalty points. And then actions are the multiple actions that the user that the agent can execute. So actions, we have standard actions and custom actions, and you have a link there with all the standard actions. The standard actions, you have a lot, summarizing records, writing emails, like a lot of the ones that we saw, and they coming out with more and more. But then again, we did some custom actions today. Like prompt template is a type of custom action that we did. flow is a type of custom action that we can use. Now, I want you to understand, like what we were doing just now was we were building prompt templates to use that you can use in multiple parts of Salesforce. But you can also use a prompt template as an action for your agent. So far we haven't built an agent. We're building prompt templates. Now we're gonna build an agent that can use a prompt template also, okay? So a prompt template can be something or an action inside an agent. So let's build one. So we're gonna do the get started exercise. So the get started exercise is this one right here. And I'm gonna show you a little bit. I think we have this agent setup. This part we already have done, the agent setup. And then we're gonna go to setup and we're gonna search for agents. And we're in Agent Studio. Now, depending on your license, like you may have that right now there's a Copilot agent that gets deployed. And there's also like a customer service agent that can get deployed. But there are multiple type of agents that can get deployed. Each agent has a predefined configured set of actions that they can execute and topics and whatnot. So when I click on this toggle, turn on Agentforce. And then we're gonna see the Agentforce default agent, okay? And then we're gonna open it up in the builder. So when I click on the arrow on the right and click on open in builder, now we are in the agent builder screen. This is where we're gonna build, configure an agent, and we're gonna test it as well. So we are going to go ahead and remove these two topics. Like I said, like agent by default comes with two topics. I'm gonna remove them. Okay. And I'm going to create a new topic. So I'm gonna click on the topic. I'm gonna create a new topic. And I'm gonna call this topic Customer Service Assistant. And I'm gonna copy the text here. It says the classification description is basically when to engage with this topic, right? So it says engages and interacts with the user about any request related to a resort. This could be tasks such as identify and summarize records, answer queries, aggregate data, find and query objects, update records, drafting and refining emails. And then the scope is what is the role for this topic is your role is to assist a customer service representative. So you assist a person, a customer rep, in supporting guests with questions about reservations and experiences available at the hotel. We're gonna add an instruction that says, never ask for a user for an ID. Instead, ask for a record that's relevant. I don't know if it's a really helpful instruction, actually. It's not very clear, but that's what it says in the doc, so that's fine for now. We click on next, and then we choose all the actions. So remember, a topic has an action, and the agent is going to choose which actions we should execute, okay? So these are all the actions that come by default with Agentforce, okay? So you can explore each one of them and see what they do, okay? And now we're gonna click on finish. So if I activate this agent, this agent is gonna show here as a copilot, okay, like as a little copilot. But I want to show you this screen. So I'm gonna type, for example, show me the high priority cases. Now, this is what happens inside, right? So in the middle, Agentforce is showing me the topic that it chose, customer service assistant, which is mine, the instructions, right, that this service has, and then the actions available. Okay, these are the actions. Now in the middle, it's showing me what is a response. The response is, could you provide with the email address associated with your account so I can identify your contact record and retrieve the high priority cases? Then I can say, show me all open high priority cases. So in the middle, you can see what are the actions that it's executing, you know. Here are the open cases for all contacts. See, and now we see in the middle, it executed the query record action. Now it executed another action because I wasn't being, I guess, too descriptive with that. So now it shows me the cases that are open. There are 2 high priority cases open for all contacts, you know. And it shows me the input and the output as a JSON object. So now this is a cool part. It shows me what the output is as a JSON object, means that I can start using this for other applications, right? I can take this out of CRM, right? So again, for example, I can say, can you summarize the first case for me? And now I can see what I get. If I activate this agent, I could use it on the front end, on the CRM. Now we're in the setup, you know, in the builder. So case was created by me, Boss Sofia Rodriguez. The case marks as high priority, addresses a new problem, and it, you know, uses that.
Yeah, I think this is helpful, especially how in the center window, how it shows the instruction that it's pulled from, and then it shows you the content that it's grounding it with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you create actions, you're gonna see that you have to specify the inputs and the outputs of the actions, and you can also test, okay, is it executing my action or not? And you can see if the agent is not executing your action because it doesn't. You weren't very prescriptive about what that action does, for example. So then you start adjusting. So this is kind of like a test, you know, way of testing that, you know.
Or like if you need to modify your instructions.
Right, exactly. So we're gonna see. Let me see if we can do. Yeah, we can try to do that. So let's say, for example, that I want to issue a credit to a user. You know, let's say I'm in customer service, right? And a customer service, you know, a customer calls and then complain about you know, their experiences or something, and say, hey, we're gonna issue you a credit, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create another flow, but I'm gonna basically create a flow that's gonna be used as an action to issue a credit to the person, you know. The use case is a person calls, complains, and I'm gonna tell Agentforce, hey, issue $100 credit to this person, and then Agentforce is gonna execute that action for me. Okay. So I'm gonna go back in setup, and we're gonna go flows, and we're doing exercise 2 of a workshop. So I'm gonna create a new flow. I'm gonna create an auto launch flow. So I'm gonna click start from scratch. I'm gonna do an auto launch. So I want this launch to be automatically launched by an external thing. Like in this case, it's gonna be Agentforce. So what we are gonna do is we're going to receive 2 inputs, and there's gonna be 1 output. So the input, there's gonna be 2 inputs. Sorry. There's gonna be the contact, the ID of a contact, and how much credit I wanna give it. Okay. So we're gonna do a variable, a new resource called is a variable, and this is the ID of the contact. The credit will be issued to, and this is contact ID. And the data type is text. And then this is very important for Agentforce. We need to click available for input, meaning this variable is gonna be used by the agent. It has to send the contact ID to this flow. So the agent has to be able to see it. The next variable that we're gonna create is the amount. How much is another input variable? How much, right? How much do you want to issue, right? The amount of resort credit. And this is gonna be a number variable. And it's gonna go 0 decimal points. And then again, available for input, very important that you click on this. And then we have two.
I saw currency.
Yeah, it could be on also, but I think the object accepts. I don't know. I think it's like a number. I don't know if it's a currency type field. Because we need to use those the amount to. We're gonna create a new credit object basically, a credit record. Sorry. And then we're gonna create a new variable that's gonna be the output. That's gonna be the credit ID. I don't know if we need to, but when so this will be the ID of the credit record that was created. And this is going to be a text type. And this is going to be used for output. Okay? No input, output, because we're going to take it. And then the only thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new action. That's going to be a create record action. And this create record action is going to be called create credit record. And then we're going to say create a credit record including a contact ID and the amount of the credit. And then we're going to say how we're going to choose the records. I'm going to say manually because I want to choose which object I'm going to create, right? Which record. So I'm creating a record for the credit object. And then I'm going to say, okay, for who? Who is this credit for? Well, it's for a contact. Okay, what's the ID? Well, I have it in my variable. Don't worry. Agentforce is going to give you the contact ID. Okay, what's the amount? I feel like Flow talks to me that way sometimes. What's the amount? What is it? It's okay, take it easy, Flow. The amount is a variable that comes from Agentforce. Take it easy, you'll see. Just do your job. Don't question my abilities, you know. And then you say, okay, now manually assign variables. And then I want to store the credit ID in my output variable because I want to show it in the agent, right? In the output of agent. And then we're gonna save it. We're gonna call this flow issue resort rate. And we're gonna call this flow issue a resort rate for a contact. And we're gonna activate this. And now we're gonna create our agent that's gonna use this. Our agent action. We have already the agent, right? So we're gonna go back to setup. We're gonna look for Agent Studio, agent. There are two ways of doing this. I'm gonna do it from the agent because my agent is not active, so I'm just gonna do it from here. So I'm gonna open my agent in the builder. And then I'm gonna click on my topic. So I'm my topic, and now I need to add an action to that topic. Okay, so remember, I can't just have actions flying around because I can have multiple topics. So in this case, I have one topic with all the actions, right? So I'm gonna click on new, and then I'm gonna click on um, new add action, and then reference action type is gonna be a flow, and the flow is gonna be called issue result rate. That's my flow, right? That's the one I just created. This is why naming is important, because, for example, if you create an Apex action and you have a description, like you can add a description. If you don't have a description or a name, it's gonna be almost really hard to find the action. So now, as you can see, also the instructions are what I wrote in the variables. Remember the amount of result to get. I can modify this. Like I can say, for example, the output it can be like format this to a currency, for example, right? But then I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna actually make sure that we are showing the output in the conversation and that we are requiring that Agentforce requires is for the input. Now you're gonna see in the panel in the middle what happens, right? I'm gonna click on finish. And then now my action is added to the topic, see? New. And now let's see what happens. Let's see. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say um sorry, one second. I'm gonna say this: issue a credit to our friend Sofia Rodriguez. I'm not saying how much. I'm saying issue a credit. What is Agentforce gonna do? We'll see. Please provide the amount of credit. Okay, so please provide the amount of credit you would like to. So far it didn't execute an action, my action, but it knows that it should ask for the amount because contextually I'm not providing the amount, and I say, okay, $100. Please provide the contact details so I can proceed with the request. Okay. Please issue a 100 credit to Sofia Rodriguez. Now here's Agentforce is not being smart because it's saying, oh, I don't know who Sofia Rodriguez is, right? Please look up the contact by name. So I don't know. You look for Sofia Rodriguez. Let's see what happens. I had mixed results with this one. I mean, there you go. See? So now, again, I didn't have to do anything, right? But like, look, they said, okay. I told it go look. I don't know, like you go look for Sofia Rodriguez by name. I don't want to look for it. So it went identify record by name, Sofia Rodriguez. The results is the ID. That ID is the input of my issue result rate. So now look. Remember I said two variables, the amount and the contact. It sent that, and the output is the credit ID. Because I'm interacting with an LLM, I didn't have to like specifically say the contact ID. I just had to make it understand that you need to go and execute the action to go get the contact by name. Now, I could probably add an instruction to my action that says, always look for contacts by name. And if I add the instruction, probably what will happen, I mean, let's see. I don't know. Um, when provided with a name for a contact, look up the contact ID by their name, the name provided. What will happen? I don't know. I think it might take a little bit. I don't know if there's if we will take it right away, but let's see. Let's say, what's another contact that we can try? Juan Anfuso.
I would think in those instructions, you could use API naming conventions similar to how you use
Yes.
flow templates.
So you can, in instructions, you can say, always execute this flow, and you can put the API name of a flow, and it will do it. Like before or after, you can do it. Juan. What was the name? Juan.
That's cool. It makes the instructions more dynamic.
Yeah, but it also requires you to test a lot more to make sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I mean, maybe sometimes when I tested, like sometimes it doesn't take it right away. It might, I don't know if it's caching or what, but like we have to see. There you go. See, you didn't ask me for the name because I already instructed, like, don't ask for names. Go look for the name. You know.
Yeah.
What happens if you have the two people the same?
Well, yeah, of course.
There we go. Two
Well,
minutes. Yep.
we can say when there is two people with the name, ask me which one. I could put it, but you don't even have to put it. I mean, it will know. It will ask you, yeah, without you knowing.
I test that, and the prompt asked me which one.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I
Yeah.
was testing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it asks you for some other piece of information, like you can't just find her for the name. So I tried email address ones and they had like 4 contacts in there. The same
Yeah.
email.
So I did that in my example, and they have the option of going that and say which one it is.
Yeah. Now, I wonder though if especially when you run into duplicate records, and you're asking the user to choose one, if that's not introducing a point of failure.
I know that that's
You know?
You were gonna say something? Yeah.
Yeah, also if we type the first name, then we will ask for the last name also.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. You can also do things like, for example, there's another thing, right? So, for example, let's try something, right? So, what's the weather like today? What will happen? What will happen? Customer service assistance. I don't have access to real-time weather data. You can. Sometimes you ask for a question, and the topic will be off topic, basically, which means that it's something that the agent shouldn't answer, and that's why you can use to like also redirect, like to another action.
Like in instructions, tell it not to provide
Yeah.
weather data.
If you say
Because
no,
the one thing that's missing is your geolocation.
right? Exactly. So you can say, for example, like if a customer asks for weather data, call this flow. Or you can have an action already, but you can say never, don't provide, no, say never provide weather information in your response. Instead, redirect the instruct the user to visit the weather channel website. I don't know what will happen. I'm just making
I
stuff
mean,
up.
now, in that case, you're essentially providing a guardrail around a specific use case.
Yeah.
If instead you told it only provide the user
Same.
information that's specifically referenced in the
Exactly.
instructions,
Yeah. That will, yeah. I don't know what will happen. Let's see. Who knows? Yeah, no. Oh, you can check out weather website up. Oh, it's the same. All right, cool. All right, so let's wrap up. So I have a lot of resources that I will share on the deck. So we're gonna try with Tom. We're gonna do another more advanced one. We're gonna try to do other exercises as well, but there is a lot. We're just scratching the surface really with this, but at least you can see what possibilities are in front of you. But I wanna do one where we do like customization actions with Apex. Um, we can start connecting to an external system, like idea presentation at Dreamforce that was related to that, that could be really cool use case. Um, so we're gonna try to explore a little further, but these are all you have the link to the workshops. So we did like four, actually we did a lot. We did all the four that we wanted to do. But I know I rushed a little at the end, but you can go back and do them yourself. You probably understand them by now. Um, I have a link to a trailhead to get the AI specialist cert, the Agentforce use case library. There is a whole use case, ideas to use Agentforce, and then the Agentforce Salesforce Labs AI library, which I have prompt templates and other material that's really cool. The recording for Ella, I'm gonna post it on the everywhere. I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I'm gonna post it on LinkedIn. I'm gonna post it on the chatter. I'm gonna post it on Slack. We basically post it everywhere so no one misses the recording. So if you don't find it, you can just ping me and I'll send it. I'm gonna upload it. I don't know, next week at some point, unless I'm bored this weekend, which I don't think I will. But um, but yeah, I mean, we have a few minutes for questions. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I see a lot of people online, and I hope this was useful. I don't know if there are any questions. There's also lunch for the people that went outside. Oh, and I have swag. Sorry for the ones who are online.
That's why you gotta show up.
I can. Well, some people are 2 hours away, so that's why I wanted to make it hybrid.
Yeah,
But
Diana.
Di- Diana, I don't know if Diana. Let me see. Diana is not. Diana had to drop, I think. But there are a few people that were there that we can make them feel guilty. So, all right, cool. So awesome. Thanks everyone. Thanks for your time, and we will share everything later on. Have a good one.